Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Dave Tibbs, co-owner of Oakland Puzzle Company. We really appreciate you being here today. We are going to have a discussion with Jess Warren and Wes Warren of ArtPush and Vera Tour, a local artist who works with ArtPush and whose image we are using for one of our current puzzles. Our current batch of puzzles is on pre-sale now until September 29th, and it is acting as a fundraiser for ArtPush. If you order one of our 3 new puzzles right now before September 29th, then 20% of all sales will go to ArtPush. So I'd like to introduce you to Wes Warren and Jess Warren and Vera Tour, and Deanna Tibbs, my sister and the other co-owner of Oakland Puzzle Company, will be leading the discussion. But before I turn it over to her, I would just like to direct you to the links down below in the description. There are links to artpush.org, so you can do a deeper dive with them. There's a link to Vera's page. She's got some amazing artwork, paintings, apparel, backpacks, all kinds of really neat stuff, jewelry. And you'll also see the link to buy any of our puzzles that we have for sale, but we especially encourage you to check out the pre-sale puzzles that go to benefit ArtPush. So all of that said, welcome, and I'll turn it over to Deanna.
Yeah, so as you may know, our motto is have fun, do good. And this is the do good part of our work, is supporting artists and organizations and raising awareness for the work that people are doing in the community. When we spoke with Vera about turning the Secret Garden into a puzzle, you were one of the groups that she suggested. So Vera, maybe you could just tell me a bit about why you chose ArtPush.
I've been living in Alameda for for quite a while now, and in the past I used to curate few shows around the area, and it's quite a lot of work to do art shows, and it does require a dedication. So when Wes and Jess showed up in the scene in Alameda and created the gallery, the Studio 23, and then a few other galleries popped in, and they all started working together as an ArtPush organization. They do a lot of that work in the community, and I think that's why is my connection is so strong with them, because I see how much effort they put into everything that they're doing. There are kids classes, there are murals going on. They're trying to work politically as well on the scene with the city. And I think it's just admirable. I know how much work it is and really appreciate the work that they're doing. That's why they were probably the first choice of a fundraiser part of the puzzle launching.
When we talked to other folks involved in this puzzle release, which is Lelo Bird, that has a beautiful ABC flowers design, and Boxcar Flower Farm, they also wanted to be part of a fundraiser once they read about the ArtPush mission. So I am just going to read from the webpage, the mission from the webpage, so that Wes and Jess don't have to. So ArtPush exists to promote and support the arts and artists through programs and events that enhance and strengthen the community. And I did want to note that it is a group of artists supporting artists, which really aligns with our mission well, because that's what we are also. ArtPush holds monthly open studio events in Alameda, California and the East Bay, as well as regular skill development workshops. Now in the 5th year, the annual Summer Art Fair and Maker Market showcases local visual and performing artists. by promoting and sponsoring art activities in partnership with local groups, organizations, and businesses. ArtPush strengthens a sense of well-being at the individual levels, as well as building cohesive relationships among community members of diverse backgrounds and ethnicity. So, and in practical terms, I know you guys have a book, you do art talks, all kinds of things. So in your own words, Wes and or Jess, maybe you can talk a little bit about your work and your projects and how it connects to your mission.
You can lead up.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, that whole mission statement is quite a mouthful. So yeah, we do, anything that we can kind of, we do a lot of different things. And really it's, whatever we can do to bring the greater community together with artists is one of our primary goals. And then to also support individual artists. So it gives us a pretty wide range. So we do a lot of events. We try to do a lot of group shows at our Studio 23 gallery. So we have regular openings. We just try to get as many community local East Bay artists involved in that. But it's truly all over the Bay Area. We actually show artists from all over. But so either shows and openings, and then we were doing we were kind of doing the Second Friday Art Walks pre-COVID, and then when we had shut down, we turned that to the Second Friday Art Talks and moved to Zoom.
Right. And then it kind of started the book idea, putting the book together, because we were everybody was shut down for 2 years, basically, really 3 even, pushing 3 years. So then the books came to 2020, 21, and 2022. Full of East Bay artists that were doing the art talks. It all just it was all planned separately, and it all just came together.
Yeah, because we're real event focused, so the books were kind of well, we can't get out there, we can't all get together, so let's get the art in a way that we can disperse it and get it around.
Right.
I really admire that ability to pivot. And I have to say, after watching a few of the art talks, I participated in sort of a parallel program that was happening at the same time, which was photography talks, sponsored by East Bay Photo Collective. And they had such a personal impact on my process by hearing people talk about their work. I'm sure it was, really important for artists to be able to see other people talk about their work, and also maybe get feedback on their own work, and be forced to sort of articulate things as well. I think is very helpful. So congratulations on sort of making lemonade out of lemons, not to be too trite about it, and I have seen the book. We're hoping, I think, to get some come in and take some video of the book. It's just gorgeous. Lot of different work in there too, which I really appreciate. The vast number of artists that you were able to include, and the diversity of work.
And it is on sale too at bookbaby.com.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, putting together a book is a huge. Jess pretty much does all the layout and design work, and it's a giant project laying out a book.
Yeah.
So, but so are events and everything too. So we didn't since we didn't have any events, it was
we had more time.
Right, sure. About how many hours and over how many months do you work on it?
I would say we started probably in maybe if we're for late September, and then it basically runs through the rest of the year, because then we have a book party in December and invite all the artists. And this was our 10-year anniversary a few months ago at Studio 23. So we decided we could show all the work from the books for once. So we invited every artist that had participated in the books to come and show at the gallery for the first time, which was really cool to get all those people together.
Yeah, I think just between across the 3 books, there's probably 250 different local artists shown. So, and then, so that's, there's so much, like, there's so much pre-work involved, like
Yeah.
just getting the call for
Yeah.
art. And then we get so many submissions, and then we do a blind, anonymous judging and rate each piece on like 7 different categories. So that,
Wow.
it's totally, so that we're, it's not like we're just picking art. We like have
Right.
we
we're
have
not picking our
judges
best
that
friend.
go out, and they they don't see who the artist is by, they just rate the different things, and then that's how we decide what goes in the book. And then you got to lay out all this page anyway. It's but I
Yeah.
think the end result is pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
usually
beautiful.
like September through December, but it lasted longer because we ended up doing the 10-year anniversary based around the book too.
Yeah.
So, but usually it's several months.
So I believe is the nonprofit ArtPush, is it about 5 years old?
2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I mean, we were there as the studio for 10 years. We just
Okay.
didn't formally organize into a nonprofit. But we really were doing the same things. And then actually some of the people on our board were like, you're doing all these things, you're a nonprofit, you need to like formalize.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people kept
so-
saying it to us.
To take a step back, you have 3 galleries that are right next to each other, right?
Right.
So,
We have one, so we started with the one.
right.
We
Okay,
got the
so tell us,
space.
tell us the whole story. Like, what was the first gallery, and tell us about the names of the 3 galleries, and then
Yeah.
how it turned into. And I know your logo also. I want to get a picture of your logo in this part of the video. It has a little constellation of the gallery logos on it.
Yeah, I think it started from
Oh, right. The trio of all 3 of them.
yeah,
right?
the Red Door
We
Collective.
recently combined them all to make like a little collective, because we do try to coordinate shows and whatnot with each other. But when we moved here, he found a storage unit on Craigslist, and it was a dive, but we thought we could like paint in it and maybe fix it up a little bit. And but then at the same time, to meet friends when we moved here, we started this group on meetup.com just to meet and go out every month. And we had art meetups where you'd go sketching around town or bars or wherever. And so then we're like, well, after a few months of having the studio and having created that group, we're like, people wanted to show their work. So we're like, well, let's try and do a group show. And so it was not like we did not set out to go open a gallery. It just kind of formed into a community gallery. And then Sarah and Dave moved in next to us at
Before
3
that,
Mile.
Cheryl. So
It's gone through a lot.
So
changes.
the location we're in was being used for storage, and there's like 6 little units there, right? And it's kind of in the back of a parking lot. And one of the units had become available. That's where we were like, oh, this is perfect studio space. We can go and paint and work and be creative and do stuff. And then we started meeting some of the other owners. We talked the one guy who was using it for storage out into leaving, so we could take over his space and move a new studio in there. So that's the second gallery that is currently called 3 Dot, and that's Sarah and Dave run that gallery. And that actually had gone through a few, it changes, different people come in and out, but it's been there for like 7 years now. And then
They've been there a long time, yeah.
yeah, and then around the other side, there's an open air alley gallery called the Roofless Red Door.
Yeah.
And they so that has also gone through multiple, that's currently being run by Yolanda, and she's putting on a lot of
It's called the Red Door in Art Alley and Gallery or something.
So she has performances there and vendors and a lot of large work, because it's a really cool space. So it's nice because there's 3 kind of unique places. So we only have, I mean, ArtPush as a collective, we support all three of the galleries.
Right, but
So,
before you go off the red door, I just want to mention too that over West End Arts Districts actually supported the gallery and supports the gallery and keeps the gallery open, the Red Door Gallery, just so that they get a little shout out about that, because they're the only reason that we were able to keep that gallery going.
yeah, thanks, Andy.
And also, the one thing we we haven't talked about yet is the art festival that you have been doing for, I believe, has that been 5 years as well?
Longer now, actually.
It's like 7 or 8 years long now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another huge one.
Well, it started in 2015, so we had to skip a couple years with the shutdown.
Originally, we were just in our parking lot right outside the studio, and then like a couple of years later, we got permission to shut the street down, and it got like a little bit more serious, porta potties and.
But it's
all kinds
all
of stuff.
local. Like we tried to do a fair, and it's all local artists, and we give them a discount if they're willing to do a short demo. They just pick a time and they do the work. 'Cause we're trying not, we don't want people, a lot of the big fairs, people are just coming in selling more, they're selling
There'll be
sunglasses
chiropractors
and
or
yeah, and
something.
sure. So we try to keep it purely local artists.
Yeah.
And have them all kind of demonstrating stuff. So that's a really fun event.
Yeah, and I think actually the last time a chiropractor did apply to be a part of the show, and we were just like, we're sorry, we can't do it. We keep it just to art and artists.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, like a local business or a boutique that's kind of artsy and sells like artists' work in their place will get to be a part of it. But we try to keep it mostly artists. But the boutiques have to pay more though than the artists. do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So Vera, you mentioned being in the scene, or maybe not even having much of a scene, trying to make it as an artist before Wes and Jess moved here and started their work. And so you know what it was like before and after. So maybe you could just talk about, if you could be as specific as possible, what are some of the impacts that, having the gallery there and having Wes and Jess doing this work, what kind of impact has it had on your life as an artist?
Not just my life as an artist, but I think most local artists as well. It is bringing people together, and that's what it is. And then, as I mentioned, I curated a few shows before in the restaurants and the cafes, and I worked with Chuck DeGuida in the Jingle Town
Yeah.
Town Studios, and I did a few shows with him, and just to remember how much work it was. But I do have a job outside of my hobby. I still treat my art as a hobby, even though it's like a big part of my life. It's probably the biggest, but I do have a part-time job, and which pays the rent. And then there's art. And so when Jess and Wes took over like those gatherings, those people getting together, there's organizing the art fairs and shows, and it was like a breath of fresh air, because somebody was doing it, and doing it with a passion, doing it with dignity, and continuously doing it. So it's like you clearly can tell that they have that's their life's purpose pretty much for them, because how they work around with people and with local artists. So for me, I just like to take it easy, to be honest with you. I like painting at home. I like going hiking, do my job, but this is them who does all the work. So I, donate when I can, and participate in the shows when I can. And of course, I tell other people about the organization as well. And that's pretty much my involvement in it. But it's mostly them. They are the center of this Alameda scene universe.
And early on, I don't know if you remember, you and Dave had a combined show together. Yours was called Sweet Dreams, And
yeah,
his was something, I can't
fun.
remember, his was something else, like with his cartoon monsters.
Right.
Yeah. And that was like early on.
That was probably one of the first shows that was going on there. Yeah. So and we're friends too.
Yeah.
Throughout the
Yes.
years.
So Jess and Wes, why this mission? Why is it important to support artists? What do you think art and having local artists adds to the community? Just kind of talk about that. Talk about why your mission is important.
One of the reasons that one of the things that we do is called the Creative Art Program, which we started in 2011, and it works with kids. It's an art program for kids, and they do a workshop, and then they get to do a show at the gallery. And so when I was a kid, I was a runaway from early on, 13, and I lived on the streets for a while, and then just had a very crazy life after that. And one of the things that kind of brought me back to reality, to a good reality, was like messing around with art and starting to paint at 19. And I met Wes like a few years later, and he also came from a difficult background too. And art was also super important in his life as well. I mean, he was selling to his art in clubs when he was 16 years old. So I think that it's just dominated our lives. And our parents are also artists as well. So it kind of runs in our family as well. So.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story. I know of a number of artists, and including other artists that are featured in our puzzles, who sort of had art as an outlet and a way to feel kind of connected to our crazy capitalist system in a way, like something to hold on to. And also as a way of coping with sort of mental health issues and healing.
That's the big thing right there is and then giving it as a gift to everybody else that wants it to use for their medicine, you know, is really important. That's probably the base core, like, of what I feel for the what we do.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. We are a bit limited on time because of the Zoom situation. So you are relatively new organization, not super new, but you have a number of established programs. We've got the galleries and so many programs that we've talked about. What are your plans for the future? Do your current projects have room to grow? Are there new things that you're hoping for? What and maybe also, what are some of the things in the near future that you have coming up that are already sort of in the works?
There's so we're looking at, a lot of our programs are successful, and they become an annual kind of event that we do. Like the Blacklight Art Show is also a huge, very popular event. And that's coming up in around, that is on Halloween this year.
No, it's the end of October, the Saturday before.
Oh, right. Halloween weekend, I guess. So, and then another thing that we just started is we're putting local artist work. We have a company called Digifly, which has these community bulletin boards, and there's about 200 of them in Oakland, Alameda, Berkeley, Hayward, and now we're in Stanford School of Design as of last week. But we're just expanding, and these screens are running all the time. So right now, I think we're showing about 70 different local artists on it. So among the other community events, so it's all, like the concerts and events and fairs and things that are happening in the different neighborhoods. But then we have the artists, and we show them in their Instagram just to get their work out in front of the public and get exposure. And you know, that's kind of one of the things that I just wanted to add on to what Jess said, is that, like, so us being artists, and we've had a lot of friends that are artists, and a lot of times they have absolutely no idea. They can make their art, but other than that, then they're lost, right? So, and a lot of time, like in the places I've been, there are open and kind of community focused galleries and organizations, and then there's also these there's a lot of galleries that feel like there's this there's kind of this barrier, you know, and they're intimidating, especially to artists that, you know, don't. So one of the things we really try to do is help them with the things to make them a successful artist beyond just making work, you know, and like, we'll help you, show you how to hang things, we'll show you how to work with a gallery, we'll show you how to get stuff here
We'll
and
show
there.
you how to make a social media page.
Yeah. So, you know, that's one of the things we really enjoy doing, because it kind of artists often struggle with that. So it's nice to be able to openly, you know, have a community that really supports everyone.
And it's our background too. I do graphic design and he's a programmer. So it just we naturally do those things as well. And event planners, we've done a lot of event planning too. So they all kind of work together really well.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's quite the hub that you've created with so many resources, and you know, obviously people personally relate to you both as well, like you're warm and friendly, and the accessible space that you're creating and all of that. It's just kind of makes this little haven and a little magical place for people. So thank you for all that you're doing, and we're so happy to be able to share your work a little more broadly. Is there anything else that you'd like to add about your work and
I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Our Black Light Art Show in the last Saturday of October.
It sounds so fun.
It's a lot of fun. Sometimes we have like body painting, and we have big LED sculptures outside and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Vera, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I'm happy to be part of this whole puzzle project. I mean, it's very exciting. I was in Mexico when you emailed me and asked about participating, which is I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. And it kind of brings everything together. And thank you. You know, I want to thank everybody for if you buy this, if you purchase the puzzle, you supporting local galleries, you supporting local business, and you supporting local artists, and you're having so much fun putting it together too. So I just want to do a shout out to everybody who's actually purchasing and yeah, participating in this. It's wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this. Like, yeah, that's all.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and thanks to all of our viewers who are checking out this video on our YouTube page. If you like what you're seeing and you want to see more interviews with the artists who are behind the puzzles that we're making, and the organizations that we are doing fundraisers for, hit like on this video, leave a comment below. Please subscribe to our YouTube page. That's a huge help for us. Look forward to more content in the future, including an interview with Vera Tour about her art and about her contribution to the current pre-sale, A Secret Garden, which is just one of the most amazing images I've seen in a long time on a puzzle. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we're looking forward to seeing what this fundraiser can do for ArtPush before the 29th. And looking forward to continuing to work with you all in the future.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Thanks.